Good morning and welcome to day 13. Day 13, still the usual story. I have just spoken to my parents, both who've managed to cough whilst on the phone to me. And both of them insisting, oh, it's just fine, it's just a little cold. So thinking of, what's next? So we just have to take it as it comes. So, some yoga for the day. If you want to bring yourself into all fours. So a nice comfortable all fours position, little bit of space between your hands, between your knees. Starting to arch up through the back of the body, release your head down. Inhaling, lengthen out, look between your hands or beyond. Just go nice and smoothly with your back, so you get that feeling of wakening the back up. Easy breathing, so follow your breathing as you do this. Do check the health issues. If there's anything going on for you, it's worth checking even if you think there's not, because sometimes we have little bits and bobs going on that can be helped. From here, take your weight into your hands, a long distance between your hands and your knees, and you're going to let your hips come down towards the floor and your shoulders roll down and up so we get a lovely lift through the chest. Sweep your hips back, press into the hands to lengthen your hips all the way away from your hands. Lovely long line so the spine lengthens, and then we're going to do exactly the same again. So shoulders come forwards, you're still on your knees, but it's this time, if you want to, float the knees off the floor, roll the shoulders down the back of the body, feel that sense of lift in the chest and extending back into the heels. And the knees come evenly to the floor. Slide your weight back so the hips extend. Really lovely lengthening out. And then if you bring yourself forwards again, I'm going to do this from a slightly different angle. So from this leaning back position, long hands away from knees, you're going to slide your weight into your hands. You're going to let your shoulders come forwards. You're pressing down with your hands to lift your shoulders up. Heels extend away. So it's not that we're kind of like a plank, which is another wonderful pose. This is up dog. It's that feeling of lift into the chest, extending into the heels, and then knees come down and extend yourself back and let your body rest. So as we rest, we let the breath settle into the back of the body. So you look for the movement in the back of the rib cage. You look for the movement as your body extends towards your thighs. And then bringing yourself back and into all fours. So from here we're going to come up to standing. So you can walk your hands in towards your knees, lift up with your hips soft through the knees so that you can support yourself with your elbows onto your legs. And we're going to start with the head just rolling down. It might be that you're higher up, it might be that you're lower. Make sure that you're getting a nice feeling of stretch through the back of the legs, through the back of your body and all the way through to your head. And then bend through your knees, lift up through the pelvic floor, up through the tummy to bring yourself up to standing. And as you come to standing, just get that feeling of softening and widening. So you're opening out, being able to take in a little bit more air so you can breathe really nicely. We're going to do a balance pose from here, so you might want to have yourself beside a little bit of support so that you can come onto it, because that's how I'm going to teach it to start with. So you're going to be a little bit more than a hand distance away from your support. And from here you're going to take a step back with one foot so you're up on the heel. You're going to let your hand slide forwards and the back leg is going to lift up. Now, provided there's no issues with knee and hips, you're going to let your toes rotate round so that they're facing towards the screen. And then your hand's going to float up to the side. You're going to bring your hand back down, rotate your toes to face the ground, and back to even feet. So this is Halfmoon Pose, so we're just going to do a couple of versions of that. So from the same position, take the opposite foot back, hand comes out and onto the support, back leg will just naturally probably lift up. Remember not to do this if you've got pregnancy or if you're pregnant and you've had issue with your pelvis. Toes can start to rotate out and away from the standing foot. Free hand can extend up and open. And then hand comes back down, toes rotate down, and we come back to both feet settled on the floor. The next little bits are to come a little bit further away from the wall, so you get a bigger movement if you want to. Very important that you're working on a mat and that your space is set up so that you're safe. So if you want to take a step back, take just a little step back, so you've just got a little bit more challenge if you want it. Foot comes onto the floor, hands stretch out to the front, back leg lifts. I'm going to find the wall again. So we're starting to do that same thing. The toes start to extend round, so we rotate round into the upper hip bone, round the rib cage, and then hand can open up. And then bring your hand down, rotate your toes to face the floor, come back to standing. And then to the opposite side. So stepping forwards, hand comes out, toes lift up, wobble, toes extend out and towards the centre of the room. Hand comes out and we're extending out in all directions at the same time. And then hand comes back onto your body, toes face the floor, come back to both feet even. So back to that settled feeling. We're going to have the option of doing one more on each side so that you are getting to float free if you want to. Very important if you're not used to doing this, that you're floating free in a way that's safe so that you're that little bit higher up. So stepping a foot forward, hand extends out to the front, back foot lifts, toes rotate round, round through the hips, round through the rib cage, extend out, feel that you're going out with the hands, out with both feet. And then bring your hand back down, rotate the toes down, come back to standing, back to settled feet. Back to the weight settling back into the back of your body. It's very important you're just moving up a stage if it really feels good for your body. So we really want the body to be happy with what we're doing, the breathing to feel it can expand freely all the time. Opposite foot's going to step forward, so weight into the front foot. Hand extends out, back foot lifts up, toes start to rotate out, free hand comes up. Then we expand and we tip to wherever our body wants to come to and feel steady and strong. Hand comes back onto your body, toes rotate round, back to the floor, back to stability. From here you're just going to fold forwards. So if you let your hands come onto your thighs and think about that long, long back feeling. So you're lifting up through the tailbone, shoulders are moving down and away from your face. And then you're going to bend your knees, you're going to come down and onto the floor. And if you want to take a block, if you'd like one, I'm going to show you how to use a block comfortably. I'm going to move this just a touch. So from here, if you're using a block, this is quite a big one, you can use a much smaller one. But if you're using a block, you're just sitting on that first half of the block rather than on the whole thing. So you're just going to sit onto the block, you can let your legs come out in front. This is too high, I'm just not comfortable on it. I'm going to take it away. But that's how you would use it, and do use it if you would like to. Knees can be bent if you've not got a block, so the back of the body lifts up. And you're going to take one leg, you're going to draw it in. Now it might be just a tiny movement if your pelvis has been uncomfortable in pregnancy. It might be that your leg is coming further up towards your hips and the knee can rotate out. Either knees can be bent, so please adapt this so it feels great. Hand is resting onto your straight leg, other hand's coming onto the floor, both shoulders relax down, and then you're spiraling round towards your bent knee with your tummy and your diaphragm. So try not to move with the head because this is just the neck twisting. I might look like I'm doing more, but I'm really not. So it's this area of the body that's moving. And then once you've got the movement all the way round through here, then we can work into the shoulders, then we can work into the head. Bring yourself slowly, smoothly back to the centre. Bring a knee in, extend it out. And then the other side. So similar position if your hips like it. So one hand is rested onto your leg, one hand's on the floor. We're moving round towards the bent knee with the diaphragm, with the tummy. So hips are both even on the ground, and it's that spiralling motion that we're looking for. Move into the shoulders when you feel ready, and then maybe the head. But go so gently if you work with your head. Bring yourself back and to the centre. Take both knees out in front, soften with the knees, and fold forwards over both legs. Breathe into the back of your body, and then bring yourself up to come to sitting to do a little bit of breathing. So we're doing a little bit of breathing most days at the moment, just to make sure that we're really looking after our respiratory system. So you're going to take your hand onto your diaphragm area, and you're just going to allow yourself to breathe, or to just notice how this area of your body moves when you're breathing. So just breathe naturally at your own pace. And just notice that gentle movement of the diaphragm. It might be that you feel a real expanding and softening back. It might be subtler for you. And then if you want to, come into that Ujjayi breath as you breathe out, so that ocean breath. So soft noise as you breathe out. And then let your breathing settle back to normal. And as it settles back to normal, you'll probably notice that even with just 3 little breaths like that, the breath can become a little bit more fluid, a little bit freer, a little bit fuller. That's what we really want in yoga, to allow our breathing to be stronger and healthier. So my challenge for you today is to think of something that you're really grateful for. It could be absolutely anything, but just to remind yourself of that during the day. Whether you write it down somewhere, whether you just note it in your head, whether you tell someone or write someone and tell them what you're really grateful for. And my quote for the day is from Rumi. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. I wish you a peaceful, contented, productive day where you trust that all's going to be okay somehow. Coming back to that feeling of this moment and the beautiful, beautiful sun that I've got here. I hope you have sun too. Thank you.